Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Train of Thought on 92.3 The Train. Lines are open to you to comment on just about anything today, as we are near the end of April, and lots of things have happened, and some things might continue to happen. And we'll get into that in a moment, but let me give you the phone numbers first. 301-334-4272, 301-334-3800, the numbers to call. And you can comment on, like I said, just about anything that tickles your fancy this morning. We're awaiting a call from Garrett County Delegate Wendell Beitzel, who is going to be one of our guests today, and we'll try to get some inkling from him about what he's hearing, what will be going on as far as a General Assembly special session. And hopefully that call will come soon. But in the meantime, we've got time for your calls, and certainly pick up the phone. Don't be afraid. The water's not too cold. Just dive right on in. 301-334-4272, 301-334-3800, our numbers here. And I started to write something and never got down to finishing it, which if you know my life, you know that sometimes I get a little sidetracked because of things that come up. But I'll read you what I got. It's not long, but it kind of starts the discussion maybe going. And the script goes like this. This morning we sit at the crossroads of a future, our future. As much as our national leaders decry the current conditions and predict a bright future, I think most of us know better than that. To expect things to get really better is not a quick proposition. It may be an impossible proposition. Government at the national level has already spent trillions of whatever future prosperity there is. Government at the state level has already committed billions in future pensions. Our local governments, the county and towns, do not have the direct debt problem, but they are dependent on funding from the feds and the state, so they are and will be hurting for the foreseeable future. That's what I've got so far. And we have a phone call, so we'll go to that right now. Good morning. Welcome to Train of Thought.
Good morning. How are you?
I don't know. I've been better. How about you?
Well, I've been better, too. I'm starting to wonder where our priorities in Garrett County are.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it's just, I'm livid, over the school closing. We save, they're saving a business that really isn't profitable at all. It hasn't shown any profit, but yet they're going to turn around and close a main schools. I mean, I'm against it, but I can understand Kitzmiller with its low rate. But Dennett Road, I mean, I went to school there. My mother worked there, and it just appalls me. And I would just like, Representative Beitzel to tell me where our priorities are. I know they, didn't want to even raise our taxes or anything, but if it was going to save the school, especially Dennett Road, I, as a taxpayer, would at least see, say, okay, I'm paying more property tax, but, what about the children? I see us going towards Preston County. Maybe I have relatives over there and, a one school for everything. And I'm going to Kingwood at 6 o'clock in the evening, and there's babies getting off the bus at that time. I mean,
yeah.
We've just got to get our, I just feel like our priorities are skewed, if you will, and I don't understand. I mean, I know they cut the budget and they got to cut some, and like I said, even though, I was against it, I wanted to save it, I can almost understand the Kitzmiller school with the low attendance.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to continue on at Kitzmiller, and I'm not speaking out against the school there, but the numbers are what they are, and they're at about 50 kids for the whole school.
Right,
and that's tough to. I can see where, it was under consideration last year and was saved.
Exactly.
But where people get upset in Kitzmiller, and I can relate to it, is that the school is the heart of the town.
Exactly.
You take the school away, and you're rolling up the sidewalks.
Well, and I mean, it just, we're already transporting kids, from the lower end down there. The southern end of the county reaches all the way down to the Potomac,
Right.
So, and I know a few of the bus drivers, and they're already, you know, and just the overcrowding and the pressure on the teachers. You know, I have lived in a different state, and my children growing up, you know, I was so glad to get back to Garrett County where there were smaller classes.
Yeah.
And they excelled because of it, because they had the better help, you know. And I don't know, you know, this time of trying to find a job and everything, it just, you know, all the teachers and aides that it's going to put out, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want to know where our priorities are, you know. I'm standing on the other side here, you know, as a parent, grandparent looking in, you know, and, you know, what damage it's going to do down the road in the future. And you've got something, you know, to me, they kept something going that is non-profitable and it was useless. And I just think that money could have been funded a different way.
Okay.
You know?
Well, first of all, I think you're right. We got to get to that conversation about what are our priorities. And
exactly.
We have to do that in the light of the new reality. The new reality is that the financing of government is changing drastically.
Exactly.
So we have to consider it in that light. And
right.
even turning around and looking 5 years ago and saying, well, I wouldn't have done that back then, I wasn't at the meeting, but I can almost assure you that whatever meeting was held at what point, there weren't a lot of people that showed up.
Well, and that's just it. And now, you know, something that I thought, you know, that maybe I should have been at that meeting too, as an anti, you know, and then you don't go.
Right.
You sit on your butt thinking that everybody's going to do the right thing morally, and that doesn't end up happening, so it's our fault too, but I just wish they would, you know, us as people, you know, band together more. And, you know, I know we were fighting and protesting, and obviously the decision had already been made, and I was ecstatic, you know, when the commissioners came down and said, you know, okay, here's $500,000, you know, and I thought, okay, here we go. But it, you know, it was already set in their minds. So.
Well, the question, two things. The question is, what are they going to do if, and it's probably a when the state says, okay, here's the $1.15 million that was in the stop loss formula to help you out. What are you going to do then? Do they go back and revisit it? Because
exactly.
There is, number one, I think that there is, and a board member, Rodney Durst, said this to me. He said there's an opinion on the Board of Education right now that they have put the communities through the ringer so much already.
Right.
Why would you do that? And this is devil's advocate to maybe your position, but
exactly.
Why would you do that again when you're only going to get another year out of the deal?
Well, and that's just it, you know. It's just, I don't know, you know, it's like they're supposed to be in there representing us and listening to the people, and there was a very, very loud voice the last week over this school closings, and it's like we're not being listened to at all, you know, and the children that were out there, you know, they understand this. This is our future. This is what we're going to turn the world over to, the government over to, you know, and it's just like we're falling on deaf ears or something. And I know a few of the commissioners, you know, one of them especially was really in there with us and everything, but
they don't. The other problem that they have as a board member, and I'm not in that board, and
right.
I know some of the folks on the board, but I haven't discussed the issue directly with them. But I will say that if you're told as a board member that you have to have a decision by April 30th on what
right.
you're going to do here, and you don't have the money in hand, you're put in a position that you have to trust that the state is going to give that $1.15 million.
Right.
Because if you don't make the decision that they did on Tuesday of this week, then you're left holding the bag.
Right.
Then what do you do?
Well, and to me, there is just different things, you know. Okay, I am all into saving the Chesapeake or whatever, but come on, you know, where are our priorities? We've got to start at the heart of it. And, you know, we've got to think about our children, and, you know, education is put so much, you know, back in the day, and I'm getting off on my age now, but, you know, you could get a job on your skills, what you learned, you know, farming the ground, and that's not it anymore. I mean, we have so much pressure on our children to make grades, and you got to go to college or you're going to be nothing. So what does this tell them? To me, it's just kind of a negative. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. You'll do okay, do the best you can, and pat them on the head and go on. And to me, it's just giving them the wrong meaning and the wrong impression. And I think as a state, Mr. Governor, that we need to look at the stuff that we are funding, that our taxes have to pay for, our state taxes that we pay, and look at it where it's going. I know they've closed some city schools. I know some people, down around Baltimore and stuff like that. They've had to make that pressure, but not the pressure that we have here. And I don't think they have. To me, it's the traveling and the overcrowded classrooms. I just can't imagine my kindergartner having to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on a bus each way, and then have to worry about homework and doing good in the class. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just I don't know. I just feel like we're sending the wrong message to our children.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see an hour and a half to 2 hours on a bus one way.
Well, I know that. I'm exaggerating, but I do know places that does happen. That they are on a school bus for a very extended time. They have to get up very early. They don't get home until late, and I mean, they're playing and working hard at school. They're tired. And I don't know. Like I said, the pressure that we now put on education, I just feel like we're sending a mixed message to them.